Welcome to Bookish and Beyond, money, where financial wisdom comes to life. In each episode, we break down the world's most impactful finance books, from money management guides to investment biographies. We explore key takeaways, author insights, and draw modern parallels to help you navigate today's financial landscape. Craving even more? Subscribers enjoy exclusive access to detailed book summaries, study guides, and timeline PDFs. Everything you need to deepen your financial savvy. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. This is Bookish and Beyond. Money?
All right, so get this. We're diving deep into ancient Babylon.
Ooh, ancient Babylon.
But not the Hanging Gardens this time.
Nope.
We're talking about how they viewed wealth and success back then.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you sent over some really cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we've even got excerpts from the audiobook of The Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh, a classic.
It's that classic by George Clason.
Right.
And it's full of these financial wisdom nuggets disguised as parables.
Ah, I love that.
So are you ready to unlock some ancient secrets to prosperity with me?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so first things first, when we think of Babylon, we often picture this city dripping in gold.
Yeah, totally. It's like opulent and luxurious.
Right, exactly. But it wasn't always that way.
That's true.
When King Sargon came home victorious, he actually found his people struggling.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, his royal chancellor had to break the news that all the money they spent on fancy canals and temples left everyone broke.
That does sound a little familiar.
Yeah, a little bit, right? And it's like all the gold just kind of magically floated into the hands of a select few.
Yeah, and that's where our deep dive really gets going.
Yeah.
The king sees this huge gap between the rich and the poor, and he's like, wait a minute, how is wealth actually built?
Right.
And luckily for him, he's got Arkad, the richest man in Babylon, to turn to.
Okay, so Arkad, this guy is like the OG financial guru, right?
He really is a legend.
But here's the thing. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
No.
He started from scratch, just like many of the people who were struggling in Babylon back then.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, me too, right? We've all had to start somewhere.
Exactly.
So Arkad's story is a total rags to riches tale. He was a simple merchant's son, no inheritance, no special talents.
Wow.
But he had this burning desire for something more. And get this, instead of just wishing for wealth, he decided to learn how it actually worked.
That's so smart.
It is, right? Like, he took this proactive approach.
Yeah.
He sought out knowledge. He developed a plan.
That's a powerful lesson for all of us,
Right.
no matter what we're trying to achieve.
Exactly.
Arkad understood that building wealth has rules, like a game.
It's not just about chance.
And not all.
Or, just being lucky.
Right.
So one of the most striking parts of Arkad's story is his encounter with Algamish, the moneylender.
Oh, yeah. Algamish.
So Algamish gives him this super simple piece of advice. Keep a portion of everything you earn.
Sounds easy enough.
Right. On the surface.
Yeah.
But here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
It seems obvious, but how many of us actually do it?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Right.
Saving a portion of your income before you even think about spending. That's the foundation of building wealth.
Like paying yourself rent for using your own money.
Exactly.
I like that analogy.
Right.
Okay, so the king, totally impressed by Arkad's wisdom, asks him to share his secrets with 100 citizens.
100 citizens. Wow.
I know, and he called them the 7 cures for a lean purse.
Okay, the 7 cures. I like it.
Right.
Have you ever thought of your wallet as needing a cure?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And these cures, they're not like some outdated Babylonian tricks.
No.
They're principles that are just as relevant today as they were back then.
Timeless wisdom. They're about understanding money at its core.
Okay, so let's break down these cures. The first 3 are kind of like setting up the game board, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
All right, so cure number 1 is start thy purse to fattening.
Okay.
Which basically means pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Save at least 1/10 of what you earn.
Got it.
And then we have control thy expenditures.
Okay.
In other words, don't spend more than you make.
Right.
And really think about the difference between needs and wants.
Needs versus wants. That's crucial.
Right. Like, are you spending money on things you actually need or just stuff that you desire?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
Sometimes it really is.
Yeah.
It's about making conscious choices with your money and living within your means. Okay, and then the third cure, make thy gold multiply.
Okay, this is where it gets exciting.
Right. This is about putting your savings to work for you making your money generate even more money.
It's like planting seeds and watching them grow.
I love that analogy.
Right.
And Arcad really stresses doing this wisely. He tells a story about how he lost some of his early savings
Oh, no.
by taking bad advice on investing in jewels.
Even the richest man in Babylon made mistakes.
I know, right? It's kind of reassuring in a way.
It is.
Like, even he had to learn things the hard way sometimes.
Exactly. We're all human.
So that's why he emphasizes getting advice from people who actually know what they're talking about.
Right.
Don't trust a bricklayer with your jewels. Talk to a jeweler.
Makes sense to me.
Right. It makes total sense. You can't be an expert at everything. Knowing your limits and seeking expert advice when you need it is key.
I agree with that.
And it all ties into protecting your initial investment and choosing investments that offer a reasonable return without crazy risks.
Right.
Arcad wasn't into get-rich-quick schemes.
No.
He believed in slow and steady growth.
Smart.
Which reminds me of that story about Arcad becoming Algamish's partner.
Who?
It wasn't like a flashy display of wealth that won Algamish over.
No.
It was Arcad's proven track record of managing money responsibly.
That's impressive.
I think we've got a good grasp on those first 3 cures.
Yeah. Those are foundational.
That's next.
Well, you sent over some really fascinating material about the remaining cures,
Oh, yeah.
and you'll never believe how they connect to some real-world stuff.
Oh, really? I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
Okay, so you know how we were talking about owning a home
Mm-hmm.
and how that ties into being a smart investor?
Yeah.
Well, Arcad had some interesting things to say about that.
Okay, I am so ready for this.
You might be surprised by how they looked at home ownership back then.
All right, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So we were talking about owning a home.
Right.
It's a big deal for most people.
Yeah, for sure.
So what did Arcad have to say about it?
Well, Arcad actually saw owning your home as a key part of financial success.
Really?
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah, and he even contrasted it with renting,
Okay.
which he kind of saw as like throwing your money away every month.
Wow. So it's like he's talking about today's housing market.
It really is.
Ah.
He emphasized the stability of owning your own place.
Mm-hmm.
No more landlords, no more rent hikes. You know, you don't have to move when you don't want to.
Right. Plus, you're building equity in your own property
Exactly.
instead of just, giving it to a landlord.
And that could increase in value over time.
Yeah, it's like investing in your future.
It is?
He talks about really shifting your perspective
Uh-huh.
to see your home as more than just a place to live. It's a long-term investment.
Like a piggy bank made of bricks and mortar.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of investing, I remember that story Arcad told about the merchant who had the chance to invest in land
Oh.
for herb gardens,
Uh-huh.
but he just kept putting it off.
Classic procrastination.
Right. We've all been there.
Oh, for sure.
It really highlights how important it is to recognize those opportunities
Yeah.
and then seize them when they come up.
When they present themselves. Absolutely.
Sometimes being decisive can make all the difference.
Mm-hmm. Between, building wealth and staying stuck.
Yeah, exactly. So it sounds like cure number 5 is all about opportunity and taking action.
It is.
Fortune favors the bold.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's not just about spotting opportunities, though.
Yeah.
It's about being prepared for them.
So like having your finances in order.
Yeah, exactly. Being ready to make a move when the time is right.
Arcad told a really good story about an animal buyer who missed out on this huge profit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was too busy being grumpy.
Oh, no.
I know.
It's too bad.
It reminds me how important it is to just stay positive and focus on your goals.
It's true. Our mindset really matters.
Right.
Sometimes we get so focused on what's not working that we miss the good stuff that's right in front of us.
So true. So being able to think clearly and act decisively when you see an opportunity is crucial.
I agree.
So these ancient Babylonians,
Yeah.
they were pretty savvy
They really were.
when it came to money and success.
They had some timeless wisdom to share.
So that brings us to the 6th cure,
Okay.
which is the 5 laws of gold.
Ah, yes. The 5 laws of gold.
These seem like the culmination of all of his teaching.
Yeah, like the big reveal.
The secret code to unlock financial success.
It really is the heart of his philosophy.
So he introduces these laws through the story of his son, Nomasir,
Right.
who was given a bag of gold.
Lucky him.
I know, right? And a clay tablet with the 5 laws inscribed on it.
Wow, a treasure map.
It's like a treasure map.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, Nomasir didn't exactly follow the map at first.
He didn't.
He kind of blew it.
He made all the classic mistakes, Overspending, bad investments, listening to the wrong people, lost everything.
And experienced real poverty
Yeah.
and despair.
It's a reminder that even with good intentions, you need knowledge and discipline.
To really build wealth.
Yeah,
But it's a classic tale of redemption, though.
it is.
Nomasir remembers the laws, starts applying them, and becomes even wealthier than his father.
That's amazing.
I know, and those 5 laws are worth repeating.
They are.
Okay, so first, pay yourself. First, save.
Okay, number 1.
Number 2, put your gold to work, invest it wisely.
Number 2.
Number 3, seek advice from wise men, experts in their field.
The experts.
Number 4, invest in what you understand, avoid speculation.
Got it.
And number 5, avoid get-rich-quick schemes and unrealistic promises.
They sound so simple,
They do, right?
but they're powerful.
They're so deceptively simple.
Yeah.
Easy to understand, but maybe not so easy to follow consistently.
I think that's the beauty of them.
Right.
Straightforward and timeless.
It doesn't matter if you're a scribe in ancient Babylon
But
or navigating, the modern financial world.
Right.
Those principles stay the same.
they do.
So I'm really starting to see why The Richest Man in Babylon has become such a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason.
It's amazing how relevant these ancient stories and teachings still are.
It's like they had a time machine
I know, right?
and could see into our future.
So there's one more story that I think we should touch on.
Okay, what's that?
It's the tale of Dabasir, the slave who became free.
Yes. Dabasir.
It really shows that even someone in incredibly difficult circumstances
Yeah,
can achieve financial freedom.
I love that story.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah, it's a story about hope and resilience.
So Dabasir, inspired by Arkad's teachings, came up with a plan to repay his debts and regain his freedom.
He's a true example of the power of consistent effort, disciplined saving, and wise budgeting.
He didn't let his circumstances define him.
No, he didn't.
I find it so fascinating that he started from a place of such disadvantage,
Right.
but the principles he applied are the same ones that Arkad taught.
Yeah, it shows that they're universal,
Right.
not just for the wealthy or the privileged.
Mm-hmm.
They're for anyone who's willing to learn and apply them.
Anyone.
Financial freedom is within reach for everyone.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
There's a cool modern-day connection in the material you sent.
Yeah.
It's about this college professor
Okay.
who was drowning in debt.
Oh.
And he used Dabasir's plan to get out of debt
Why?
and build financial security.
That's so cool.
It's like ancient wisdom meets modern problems.
It really is a great reminder that these ancient principles aren't just stories.
Right.
They're practical tools.
Tools that can make a real difference in our lives today.
Exactly. They're still relevant.
After all these years.
I know.
I think that's one of the things that makes this deep dive so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just about learning for the sake of learning.
It's about taking action,
Yeah.
making positive changes.
And speaking of timeless wisdom and inspiration,
Yes.
there's one last story we need to touch on.
What's that?
It's the tale of Sharnada, a wealthy merchant, and his journey with Hadan Gula, the grandson of his former business partner.
Okay.
This one really stood out to me because it focuses on something we haven't talked about much yet,
Okay.
the importance of work.
Oh, yeah. Work.
Not just as a way to make money,
Right.
but as a source of fulfillment.
That's important.
So Sharnada had once been a slave himself.
Wow.
But through hard work and determination, he built this really successful career as a merchant.
That's inspiring.
And he truly believed that work wasn't just a means to an end,
No.
but a source of pleasure and purpose.
He loved what he did.
He did right. It's like finding that sweet spot where your passion and your skills meet.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like work then.
No, it doesn't.
So he's trying to instill this belief in Hadan Gula,
Right.
who seems to have a little bit of an entitlement complex.
A little bit.
He was definitely born into privilege.
Yeah.
And he kind of looked down on work.
Yeah, he saw it as something only slaves should do.
And he was more interested in spending his grandfather's fortune than earning his own.
Of course.
So Sharnada challenges this view by sharing the story of Megiddo,
Megiddo.
a fellow slave who believed that work was his best friend.
Wow. Work was his best friend.
I know. Think about that perspective.
That's amazing.
Seeing work as your ally, not your enemy.
Right.
So Megiddo's a great example of how a positive attitude and a strong work ethic can lead to success no matter where you start.
Absolutely.
It's about taking pride in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that Hadan Gula's own grandfather, even though he had been a slave,
Right.
became incredibly successful through his dedication to work.
That's quite a legacy
I know.
to live up to.
It's a great reminder that hard work and a commitment to excellence are values that transcend time and circumstance.
They're always in style.
I think that's one of the key takeaways from our deep dive.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Building wealth isn't just about following a set of rules.
Mm.
It's about developing certain character traits.
And approaching life with a sense of purpose.
It's about more than just money. It's about living a fulfilling life.
Exactly. So we've really gone back in time with this deep dive into ancient Babylon.
We have.
It's amazing how much their wisdom about wealth still applies to us today.
It is.
You know who knew we could learn so much from people who lived thousands of years ago?
It's incredible, isn't it?
It is. We've covered so much ground from Arkad's, inspiring journey to becoming the richest man in Babylon, to those practical steps of the 7 cures for a lean purse, and of course those 5 laws of gold, which are like a cheat sheet for financial success.
I love those.
Right. They were ahead of their time.
They were. And you know what I find really interesting is their teachings aren't just about money. They're about character. They emphasize making wise choices, grabbing opportunities, and finding fulfillment through work you actually enjoy.
So it's a more holistic approach to wealth
than just, stacking up gold.
Yeah, it's about living a life full of purpose and abundance.
Yeah, feeling financially secure, but also fulfilled by what you do.
Exactly.
So we've only scratched the surface
Right.
of these ancient financial parables.
Yeah, if you're feeling inspired, I'd encourage you to check out The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah.
And you really delve deeper into these stories. You might be surprised by how much wisdom you can find.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is.
And I love that it's written as these engaging stories.
Me too.
It makes it so much easier to absorb the lessons.
Totally agree.
So what would you say is like the most important thing our listeners should take away?
The most important thing.
From our deep dive today.
Well, I think the real magic happens when you apply these principles to your own life. It's not just about listening and learning.
Right.
It's about taking action.
Right. Experimenting
with these ideas and figuring out how they can help you build your own path to prosperity.
It's about taking control of your financial future. Exactly. It's like having a toolbox full of amazing tools.
Yeah.
But they're useless unless you actually use them.
So true.
Right. We've given you the knowledge, now it's up to you to put it into practice.
Exactly. And remember, building wealth is a journey, not a sprint.
Right.
It's about making steady progress, learning from mistakes, and staying focused on your goals.
It's about building good habits and staying committed over the long haul.
You got it.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
And I hope our listener feels the same way.
I hope our listeners feel empowered to take charge of their finances and, build a brighter future full of abundance and prosperity.
They have the power to create the life they want.
They do.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey back to ancient Babylon.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.